Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depends on where you are joining us from in the world. What we will be talking about today is Iris Forge. We will be introducing what is Iris Forge? What is Iris first? Then what is Iris Forge? How can it be used for industrial use cases to build applications, and how can that be connected to our Iris Foundry? The agenda for today is going to be a quick introduction of who we are, what's Iris Foundry, etc. Then we will go on to explain the Iris Foundry very high level. This is not an Iris Foundry TED Talk, but we do want to make sure that you understand what Iris Foundry is all about, or else it might not make sense to you once we go into the Iris Forge. Then we'll have an Iris Forge overview, high level, and also some let's say more granular architecture components than we normally have in these TED Talks. So this might be get a bit technical towards that stage of the presentation. And then we will have some examples, applications, and a live demo of what Iris Forge can actually do. And then of course, we will leave some time at the end for any questions that you may have. As Tyler said, we long for your questions. We would like to have as much of a discussion as possible. So, number one, who are we? So, the people presenting today will be myself, Brian Rubin. I'm responsible for solution engineering around AI and innovation. And joining me today is Yuri Shimolosov, who is responsible for IT architecture. Who are we? Who is Symphony AI? Why should you care? So, Symphony AI has a very global reach with over 2,000 companies that we provide solutions for in over 40 countries. We are a verticalized, specialized AI provider for different verticals: the retail, financial services, industrial, and enterprise IT, and even media. As you see at the bottom here, we have AMC and HBO, who are our customers. Um, Today, we will be representing the industrial vertical of Symphony AI. We from a CPG perspective, a retail CPG, we are in 30 of the 50 top grocery chains around the world, 25 of 25 CPG companies, and we're in 33 out of 100 financial institutions and growing. Every day we have a new initiative that sees growth in the financial institutions, and indeed in the industrial component. We have a broad adaptation for our solutions, and we have been recognized as Microsoft's Partner of the Year, especially on industrial, for 2024. What is the industrial vertical trying to accomplish within Symphony AI? So Symphony AI provides AI solutions for custom verticals, and as I mentioned, we are representing the industrial AI vertical. And here, what are we trying to do? So we're trying to get our customers to that industry 5.0. So everyone is familiar with the Industrial Revolution 1, 2, 3, 4, where now you have connectivity to your plant, to your assets, to your process, and you're collecting data in a historian and via CMMS, MES solutions, calculating your OEE, etc. But what we want to create is the Industry 5.0 revolution that is really bringing the digital transformation of the manufacturing to be using and leveraging generative AI. So that includes AI models that go and do a deep analysis of the data that we connected in Industry 4.0, enabling co-pilots, applications, really taking it to the next level of rather being a reactive system and a very heavily monitored system. We want the AI to monitor our system for us and give us recommendations. Maybe in Industry 6.0, when we get there, we will be able to have a closed loop system where the AI will actually drive the plant. However, we're still far away from there because of maturity of the AI and adoption and trust that people have within the AI. So that's why we are Industrial 5.0, just trying to leverage the generative AI tools to enhance our capabilities and streamline our execution. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to leverage AI to transform the industrial data, leveraging LLM, creating personified co-pilots to be able to bring in the data, easily search the data and query the data and get insights into the data. We are a trusted leader in over 1,000 plants in over 30 countries. We have our own knowledge graph in Cortex that shows you a map of your equipment and your enterprise. And we also have a performance knowledge graph showing the KPI dependencies, interdependencies on the assets. We have a proven scale into industry leadership. So we have a 97% customer retention, which is very good. Once our customers are able to experience what we bring to the table, they're fairly happy. Yes, we lose 3% of the of our customers, but that's business. It's a tough business. We do serve different verticals. We are not vertical specific, so we're not into oil and gas only, or only chemicals, or only food and bev, or only discrete manufacturing, but rather our solutions are geared and created and architected in such a way that they can really be customized easily for any of these industries. And what you're going to see today with Forge really brings it to the next level. Of course, we have a lot of accolades. I won't mention any of those. You can see them here. So what exactly is our key product? Our key product is IRIS Foundry. You can go and Google IRIS Foundry. You'll see a lot of information about the IRIS Foundry, but essentially in a very high level, in a nutshell, what we're trying to do is connect to data sources, normalize it, and contextualize the data that is coming from these data sources, regardless what it is. This could be manuals, this could be historian data, this could be process data, this could be operational data, this could be maintenance data, anything. This could be quality data. It could be anything really that you or your customers or your partners are collecting. And then we bring it into our IRIS Foundry, which is built on top of a polyglot Delta Lake, normalize it, contextualize it, make sense of what the data actually represents, sort of in a digital twin fashion. Then we have some purpose-built applications. So we have some pre-built applications such as predictive maintenance, process optimization, golden batch. We have IRIS workspaces, we have plant insights, we have dashboards, of course, so dynamic dashboards and stuff like that. And then we also have copilots on top of all that that enables you to query the data live. Now, what is this actually built on top? So we have the data sources as we described. Then we have the IRIS Foundry with all of these built-in capabilities. But at SymphonyAI, what we determined, it's not necessarily discovered because it's a pretty obvious thing, is what we determined is that if we continue just building applications, just generic product applications for our customers, we won't be able to service all of our customers, because every customer will want their own custom solution with both insights and with the capability to display and interact with the data in different ways. So if I go and build an application, let's say an APM application, or even a dynamic dashboard, those are very limited to the look and feel that we can sort of harmonize for all of our customers. But customers want their own look and feel. They want to be able to even integrate it into their existing systems. So that's where we came up with the idea of IRIS Forge. So here, what we're doing is we're accelerating the app creation, accelerating app development and modification. That those apps that we're building within Forge are fully context aware, built on top of Iris Foundry, understanding what kind of data is available in the Iris Foundry, what kind of interfaces are available within the Iris Foundry, what are the application data models that the Iris Foundry has, to be able to gain access to data and present non generic data, but rather the data specific for our customers. And then maybe the most important thing is that enterprise scale deployment and governance that is available in Iris Foundry, that Iris Forge enjoys when it deploys the apps. Now it can take advantage of this enterprise governance and access management that is very important for all of our customers, because security is paramount and very important for any successful business. Then on top of that, we did a webinar a few weeks ago about the Iris flows. So if you have not yet seen it, please reach out to us and we can send you a copy of the Iris flows. Essentially, the Iris flows are the agentic workflows that we've created that enables you to automate the process. So if in industry 4.0, let's say in the APM world, you would have an ML model that would trigger alerts, then in industry 5.0, we introduced copilots where you can use the copilot and generative AI to actually query the alert, sort of reactively. You get an alert and then you try to analyze what is the alert all about. But with Iris Flows, what we're enabling our customers to do is build an agentic workflow that is leveraging Gen AI agents to actually perform the deep analysis proactively on the being triggered by a particular alert or particular use case or condition, and then get the insights directly without you as an operator or a user of the system need to go into the system and query it and do a reactive sort of processing of the data. So that's the Iris workflows, and there we have several agents. Again, if you have not seen the webinar that we shared a few weeks ago, please reach out to us and we can share that with you. So now focusing on Iris Forge. What is Iris Forge essentially? So what we're doing is we're leveraging generative AI command coding to generate command and predicate coding to generate applications. So essentially what we do is step number one is you define and ideate what kind of application you actually want to build. So by the way, this application could be a Foundry application connected fully to our Iris Foundry and fully hosted in the Iris Foundry and tightly integrated, and you cannot run it independently. Or you can create a web application, or you can create an AI agent or a mobile application that you can then take and deploy onto an iOS device or an Android device or a Surface or whatever, what have you. So you define what kind of application you want to build. The definition comes in natural language. Okay, so it's not in any coding language. You don't necessarily need to understand coding. Now, this is the purpose of Iris Forge is the persona who's going to be using Iris Forge would be more business users, not necessarily the developers, although we do have the capabilities to add a tunneling into Visual Studio Code, so you can manage the code from a more code perspective from a coder persona. But our goal is to enable everyone to build applications easily. So you just provide the natural language prompt of the app that you want to build, and then what will happen is that the Iris Forge will take that information, enhance it, and then start building your application. Okay, so it will write the code for you, set up the entire project, set up all of the capabilities required for the type of application and the language that you've selected to build it in, and it's going to build that application for you. Once it builds that application, you can iterate in it, and you can modify it and change it, and you'll see in a few moments exactly how the magic happens, right? So you can iterate on it, modify the application if you want to change it. You can even take an old application that you've built in Forge and then start modifying that to create a brand new application. Let's say you have an application for an OE for plant A, and you want to take that exact OEE application for plant B, but in plant B, maybe you have a bit of a different asset, so you want to reconfigure it. Very easy. You take that plant A OEE application and you just change it, and you have a new application. Once you're satisfied with your application, you can then deploy it into Foundry. And then once it's deployed into Foundry, now you can scale it, you can modify it, you can share it with your colleagues and other authorized users of the system. And again, once it's deployed in Iris Foundry, the application lives within the governance and security bubble. So that means that if you want to share a particular application that you built with, let's say, user number two must have permissions to actually access those capabilities. So it's not as if you can just share the app with anyone that you want and overcome the security concerns that you would have in an enterprise operation, but rather you need to make sure that the users who are going to be using this application have the proper permissions. And of course, the application would tell you this person cannot get the access to the application that you want to build because they don't have the proper permissions. And then you need to work through the organization network to make sure that they do have the proper permissions. Now I will hand it over to my colleague Yuri, who will explain a bit of an overview of the IRIS Forge architecture and then give us a short demonstration of how the Forge actually works.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. So I continue on the Forge itself. I give you a little bit more technical perspective of the system. As Brian mentioned, the main persona that we focus for the Forge itself is a business user who is not especially technical aware or knows React or web development, but just wants a nice visual interface to some solution that we want to set up on the Forge on the Foundry platform itself, and then manage it in the App Store way when the app can be developed, deployed, and shared between the users. So to like the proliferation of generative tools for coding is basically now reaching all the industries and everything, and we used one of these available capabilities basically to integrate in our platform. To do that, we had a few components that are necessary to support basically this use case, right? A part of the AI-assisted development that is widely known now, as of now, we also have the visual IDE that will allow you to see the code and maybe trick or do some little changes if necessary, if you know what you're doing. It's not absolutely necessary to work with it, but it gives you this view of the system if you need it. Then what is important, it also includes a sandbox, so that the application that is generated and developed by AI have to be run in a sandbox. This is basically, this problem has to be acknowledged because the code generated externally from your system, you have to secure it. You cannot just start and running on any machine because it's by nature unsecure. It's generated by public models, which can introduce intentional or unintentional bugs into the system or backdoors, right? So the code is running in a secure sandbox. It's absolutely isolated from lateral vertical movement and can give the user preview of the application before deploying it. So you can iterate in sandbox. Once you happy with the application functionality and look and feel, you can basically deploy it into the Forge platform cloud. So the application will be built, deployed under the umbrella of security of the whole platform. Only authorized user will have access to it, and everybody who accesses the application will have a certain level of authorization. It will basically foresee for you all the data access rights, all not only the application access, but also the data access, all the APIs access right, all the API tokens will be managed by this platform automatically. You don't need to code for it or care for it. So once the application deployed, you can share them with users and give access control to the users. To accomplish that, we use to accomplish the simplicity of user application. You will see how it translates then in the prompt itself. We do have an industry-trained LLM plug into the system, so it can interpret your 1-2 sentence requirements into the real application, basically the development grade requirements that we can build a proper application. Because again, like business user usually operates with the business terms, which are not necessarily descriptive into the technical realities. So there is an assistant, basically an agent that allows to work on this and translate it into the requirements. User can review the requirements if necessary, and then basically modify if necessary before the generation starts. So now I will switch to the live, basically from this slide to the live system, and we'll show a demo of like a quick demo. Basically, it will not be very detailed, but a quick demo of the application generated and how we can use platform to do that. Let me share my browser. So hopefully you can see my screen.
Yep, looking good, Yuri.
Okay, great. Basically, I'm logging into the Foundry, IRIS Foundry system, that the one that described by Brian. I will not go into all this functionality now. I'll just concentrate on the Forge and the application store. So because this is a list of applications that are currently existing, not much here. It's a demo platform, but basically we can build more and more applications using this platform. What I'm doing now, I'm starting a new application session, basically, and here I am prompted to enter my requirements. So we'll start with something simple today, and we'll just I will just type in it, create Foundry assets view. Basically, I just want to visualize the assets that we have in Foundry. It's an industrial app. It has a lot of it manages basically digital twin of the imagine of the whole plant. It has plant lines, other equipment. So here we have the oil refinery plant as a background digital twin. So we'll start with that. And I want to, starting from business group level, which is the highest level in hierarchy, and down to the sensors. So sensors are the most deep, the elements of this hierarchy tree, which they actually devices that retrieve the data. When a user clicks on an asset, I like to see information of that asset. Information, and then let's say that if asset has any children, just show them, right? Show them as well. As you see, very non-technical requirement that can come like from somebody. If you're a developer working with a business analyst, basically they say, okay, I just want the simple app because we have a digital twin, we have all the data into the system, and we want to visualize it. We want to see what is the digital world represents. So now what happens, the first stage of the generation is to enhance that simple prompt into something that will be looking like a technical requirements. Imagine that you work with a development team with a bunch of developers, like with a lead developer, architect, and you say them that sentence, it's not enough for them, so they have to work on this to come up with the technical requirements of the app, to describe all the nitty-gritty functionalities, what API have to be called, what items have to be retrieved, how to link different items, like you have an asset, you have an alert, what is a common ID between them, what is the field that guides the links between data, how the data is organized, linked together. All that stuff have to be first describe before starting development so that we know that we're achieving goal. So now once this phase is done, we are getting the proper requirements. If you see like it explains what API have to be called, how application is structured, what are the primary, secondary keys on the data sets, what tools to use, and it even describes what is the success criteria of this phase. So if you can get here, like we see basically, it describes the APIs to call. It says what API need to be done, basically how to link data received from one API to data received from another API, and it describes how the application has to build. So now we'll start the generation, and this is the second phase basically of the application building, is the code generation itself. So it opens this the IDE environment, and it starts generating the code. At the same time, it shows on the right all the files that are being generated, and we'll just need to wait some time. It takes usually a couple minutes, a good couple of minutes for an application to generate. It will generate a few dozen files. And you can see here on the right bottom part of the screen, it's a sandbox that has been created for this, waiting for basically to code to be ready to start. So now the LLM generates code, puts the file into the sandbox in the background, and the sandbox will basically, once it's done, again, the model itself, I'm like hands off now, will be doing its start, verification, and will show us a preview of the application. Yeah, well, it's entertaining to watch, probably because it takes like 2 to 3 minutes to do. We can maybe look if there are any questions in the Q&A section or chat to answer.
Yeah, Yuri, actually a couple did come in. I'll just fire them off. First question, what large language models, LLM models are supported? And also, second question, can I bring my own key?
Yeah, great question. Basically, we do support plenty of models here. You can switch between different application providers and select different models for application from a different application provider. Currently, I'm using Anthropic Sonnet 4 model, which for us proves to be a good one. We also, with the platform, we supply basically a key for it, so you don't need to provide it. But if you want, you can bring up your own key, put it into the system, key into the system, and it will be basically charged on your behalf if you have industrial subscription, if you have a good token rate. So yeah, we do support almost all well-known code generation models.
Awesome. Okay. Couple more here. All right, next question. Can I upload a web app developed outside of Forge?
It's a good question. Yes, it's possible. I can show it later. When you start the new application, there is a choice of importing a repository, basically a folder that you might have in your local development. So if you are a developer, for example, uploading this application into the system, the reason it could be because the system allows you to deploy the app, right? To deploy the app into this Forge App Store. You can upload your own development. Again, or you can download an existing app, enhance it, and re-upload, or you can export it in this way, basically download, upload into another system. Okay. So awesome. Now we see that the generation phase finished, and we now have the application which is started in the sandbox. It brought up an error, and this happens all the time because the nature of generation is not predictable. Basically, it's so the application which is built may have some issues, right? I will show how we can resolve it. Basically, what I do here, I will just look what problem the model encounter it and where the issue could happen. So now it says that, for example, it's tried to call an API and then receive the Axios error, and it received the 500 from the API call. Okay, I'll try to just like the way usually it will be working with a non-experienced user. If user sees the error, user can do this. Just copy this error and put it into the chat and ask model to fix it. I am getting error calling the API. Fix it. Okay, let's be polite. Please fix it. So again, now the model will analyze the code, will analyze the error, and will try to fix it to its best to resolve the issue. Meanwhile, we can answer maybe other questions while this generation is going.
Sure. Yes, we did have another one come in. Is this a self-hosted application or managed like SaaS?
The Forge platform is a SaaS platform. So basically, we have the platform itself that runs on the Kubernetes cluster, and usually depending on the client, Brian probably will iterate on this later. Basically we can deploy it either in the cloud or on premise, depending on the client exigencies. Usually industrial clients are very picky about the platform's deployment, and they want them to be on premise just because of security, but it also can be running in a multi-tenant cloud environment. So let's see now the generation finished. Let's see if it resolved the issue. Oh yeah, it does resolve the issue. So now we have basically our asset, first asset level, the business group. We have two business group and assets, and I can click on basically on the refining enterprise group, and it shows me that this asset has one children, has two channels, and 10 alerts, right? If I click on alerts, it doesn't show me the alerts, but maybe again, like I have to improve it, the application too. Again, like because the model, as I mentioned, it not always generate the perfect app, but you can always improve it interactively and going through the chat. So now you can see here, I have the whole hierarchy tree on the right. I can see the equipment that is being set up for the system. I can see all the data of the equipment, and I can see the breadcrumbs here, basically to go and click to the proper equipment, and I see all the hierarchy tree. So for a simple visualization, this is exactly what I wanted, and now what I want to show how this can be deployed into a productized way. So again, like this is still running a sandbox. I removed the chat, but chat is here, and this is as you see by link, it's a preview item. It's a sandbox environment here. So what I do, I click the deploy, and I give a name to the application. I can select an icon for it. Let's see, it's a refinery plant, so we do something related to the oil, and put a description, and then deploy. So now what happens, the application is being built and being deployed to the environment. I will close this interface. I will return back to the front page of the our platform. And I look here, I see here that I have one deployed application before, and now this application is being deployed. It is built today. It's still being deployed. Let's give it a couple seconds. Usually it's not very long. So now the whole environment been built and set up into the Kubernetes cluster as a production like environment, like basically scalable and very secure. So now we have it deployed. I can open this application now as a full screen application. This is already built application, no sandbox, no preview. I can look into this basically, again, like all this hierarchy works here. Nice, I'm satisfied with that. Now what I can do, I can share it with somebody, like give another person access. For example, I want to give Brian, my colleague, access to this application. So I just select him and add it to the access. And I think this is a point when I will transfer to Brian to show some other features of the platform, and then we can answer more questions if they come.
Correct. And perfect. Thank you very much, Yuri. Thank you for that great demonstration. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed in the code view, there was also open a tunnel if you want to open the tunneling into Visual Studio. So this is my tenant. I'm logged in as Brian. So let's refresh the page. Look at that. I have my Foundry asset hierarchy viewer, and it's exact same thing because I have rights to access it, and I can go and find what is a look at the same exact hierarchy that Yuri was showing before. So this is fantastic. So going back to the presentation, so you might ask yourself, okay, you're building applications. Yeah, we build dashboards with Power BI or exploration in Power BI, but here we're talking about not necessarily just dashboards, but really interface applications. So this can indeed be dashboards. I won't claim that this can replace Tableau or Power BI, but if you want a very simple dashboard view or multiple dashboard views, then you can definitely build that within Forge. If you need more drill down, you might want to still use Power BI, more drill down into the data. But in addition to just, dashboards and chart view and list views or whatever, what have you, you may want to have an interface that can get information and then act upon that information, or even to collect information. What do I mean by that? So let's say you have an alert and now you want to handle the alert in a particular way. Let's say you get an alert on your process. Your process is taking too long, or we see that the fuel consumption is too high. So we have that agentic workflow that will trigger an alert saying that the fuel consumption is too high. So in that case, you want someone to take action, but now you want to maybe feed back into the system saying, okay, the fuel consumption I changed because, again, we're in this industry 5.0, not yet in the closed loop system. Someone needs to go and adjust the flow of the natural gas, for example, that's being used for the fuel. So someone goes and adjusts it. Now we want to capture that to keep traceability of what happened. So now you can have an application that will show you the alert, enable an operator to communicate and capture what was changed. In addition, this could be, let's say, we do have a product called Proceedix, which is a connected worker solution where we have a procedure where an operator in the plant can work on their tablet and fill out a work order or an inspection or what have you. But let's say you want a very specific thing. So for example, here on the bottom, what you see is like a CNC monitor where we have six CNC machines, and we have a particular trigger or sensor that tells me if a CNC machine is running or if it's down. And now whenever the CNC machine is down, I need to go and mark, why did it go down? Did it go down because of maintenance? Did it go down because of unplanned maintenance? Is it down because some sensor issue? So this will trigger on the Android tablet a message telling the operator, you need to tell me why did it go down. I got an event saying that it went down. You need to tell me why it went down. Or you can say, okay, I have a work order. I need to take this machine offline. So you could proactively go and put it into the system saying, I'm taking this CNC machine down. So now if you get a trigger of an alert, you know, oh, this was taken down because of XYZ reason. So this could be a real application, a real live application. As we mentioned before, this could be a web application, this could be a Foundry application, an AI agent, it can be a mobile application, or even a console application that just runs some batch jobs behind the scenes. So we do have a preview hub hub of over 100 applications, sample applications that we've built for different agents that we've generated. You can see them on our website. So some of the agents that we have revolve around production optimization agents, IoT and analytics agents, maintenance applications, process optimization applications. So we have many different samples based off of the data we generated into IRIS Foundry, connecting it to the applications, and then we've built those in Forge and deployed those in Forge. So again, the industrial applications, think about any application that you may want to build, you can build it in Forge. So let's say in the past, whenever you commissioned an application to be built from a third-party vendor because you didn't have sufficient developers in your team, and it would take several months to build, and every single time you wanted to make a small modification, I want to move this button over here, or I want to add this simple functionality, it would be a CR that would cost an arm and a leg. Whereas now with Forge, you can set up these applications in a matter of days, have it fully connected into the correct APIs of IRIS Foundry that you brought in, you cleansed, you normalized, you built your AI analytics and ML models on the data. Now you can power these applications with this cleansed data, with these analytics that are in IRIS Foundry, with these ML models. And it doesn't take months or years, it takes a matter of days. And then you can modify it, and every change request is extremely quick and extremely simple to implement.